This is a video lesson about how to use a random number generator and how to use this for your project this week. We're going to be looking at two different data sets, and you get to pick what you use, which data set you would like to use and what variables you want to use. That's entirely up to you. There are two data sets. One shows information about students at Pitt who take Dr. Fetting's stat class, either the 200 or the 1000 level stat class, and there's a lot of data from each individual here. You can see all the columns at the top. You can see some of them are categorical, like gender. Some of them, like in color, declared major, yes or no, that's categorical. Year can be counted as categorical. Your first, second, third, or fourth year, or other, like a non-traditional student. On or off campus is categorical. Piercing, whether you have a piercing, a tattoo, what type of lenses you have, handedness, left or right-handed, do you eat breakfast regular or not, a vegetarian or not, smoking or not. Lots of categorical variables and obviously lots of quantitative. Additionally, in the one about the heart, and this is them basically studying the heart, putting them through a stress test, and seeing how the heart responds. Do they have a heart defect? Did exercise cause heart pain and angina? What was the max heart rate? What's their cholesterol level? The resting blood pressure? What was their gender? So studying things about the heart for about 300 individuals. There's categorical here. Gender's categorical. G and H, these are both categorical. Pain or no pain, no defect, a fixed defect, or a reversible defect in the heart, and some quantitative numbers here as well. So you can choose data sets, any combination of things from either one of these data sets. But you're going to be picking a random number, several random numbers from those. So in the project, it might say pick 30 random numbers. So if you decide to use the Pitt data, for instance, and you're doing a quantitative, and maybe you decide, oh, I'm going to do heights. We're going to study heights. Or maybe you decide that you want to do exercise time per day. Or you want to study the math SAT scores. A simple random sample. And I actually have column A set up for you already, and I also have it sorted by gender. But column A is already set up so that each individual has a number attached to it. Now the way I have this set up, don't change column A, but each one has a number, and as you can see, that number goes down to 500 and, well, we don't know whether those are male or female there, but 565. So if I'm going to do a simple random sample, and let's say I need to pick 30 for my simple random sample, and I decide to use the Pitt data set, I'm going to go to my random number generator. There is a one listed on the project paper. This website is listed on the project paper, so you can come to this website and you can have it generate, and we want the comprehensive version, 1 to, 565, and I want 30 numbers, and have it generate 30 numbers. I do want it to be an integer. Allow duplication in results? No, I don't want any duplicate results. And it will allow you to sort them, or not sort them. In ascending order is probably the one that makes the most sense, and I do want an integer. So I'm going to generate that, and it gives me a list. And so you just go through this list, number 22. So you would go to number 22 on the list, and that's why I have these numbers here in column A. And I would take number 22, and I would use that information. Now you can just pick out the information that you're going to use specifically. So let's say you're doing mom height. Number 22 is this one here, and then you can just physically write down 65. The other thing you can do, because then maybe you can reuse some of this, especially for the two variable relationships, is copy that, hit Control-C, and it copies that entire row. Open up a new sheet and paste that sheet, or that row, into the new sheet. And as I go back and forth, I find 29 is the next number on my random number list. So I copy that, go to the next sheet, paste it here. And then I can just keep pasting each of those over. Go to the next number, 31. Copy that, go to the sheet, paste it here. And that way, if I decide to change and not use that particular variable, I have all the information for those individuals, not just the one piece of information that I think I want to study. Because you may go through and change your mind and say, well, I don't really want to do mom's height. That's it's coming out kind of goofy and stupid. There's really nothing interesting there. Let me change to TV time per day. Well, you have that in sheet 2. You can just go over to the TV time per day. Now the titles aren't there, but you can look at which column it is and say, okay, here's the TV time. Now I'm going to analyze that list instead. On the project, it says about using the Prism to analyze. If you know how to use a spreadsheet to find the mean and standard deviation and stuff like that, if you're capable of doing that, you can run it on the spreadsheet. You don't have to do it on the Prism. Now, if I'm going to do a random number generator for a stratified one, this is a little bit different. So let's say you decide to use the heart one, and you decide, and it says stratified by gender for the C to Q study and for some of the others. So I'm going to stratify it by gender, which means I'm only looking at the females, and I'm going to pick 20 females randomly. So the females only go from 1 to 96. You can see the number right here, 1 to 96. So I'm going to run from 1 to 96, and I'm going to have it pick 20 numbers, and I'm going to have it no duplicates, ascending integer. Those settings stayed the same. And so here's the 20 females I would use. But then I also need 20 males because I stratified it. I'm going to get some males and some females stratified. So the males go from number 97 down to 303. So on the random number generator, I'm going to go 97 to 303 and pick 20 numbers. And it will give me those numbers. And I just changed the range that I use so that it matches the numbers that are on my data set that I have set up for you. And you can do the same thing for the PIT one as well, because it's already separated by genders. If you want to rearrange your lists so that you can clearly see, let's say that I want to look at on and off campus. So for my C to C study or even C to Q study, and I want to study on and off campus, students who are on campus versus students who are off campus, who had better SAT scores, who exercises more, whatever it is that I'm trying to study. You can sort your lists by any of these columns, but be careful. Make sure you sort all of them. So the way to do that is to highlight column B and every column after it. Do not highlight column A because those are your numbers and we want those numbers to stay the way they are. So highlight column B, and again, that's just clicking on column B and holding the left button down on your mouse and dragging over so that you highlight all of the columns from B over. And then you're going to go to data, and I don't want to sort by one of these. I want to sort by column M, which is my on-off campus. So I'm going to click sort range. I'm going to select column M, and you can choose an ascending or descending order, doesn't really matter, and click sort. And I have these top ones locked so it won't change the titles, and now all the off campuses are together, and then all the on campuses will be down below that. Now I'm going to post these data sets, and I'm going to let them be separate documents for each person. So you can manipulate these documents yourself. That's your copy, and it won't change it for everyone else. Okay? If you need help with any of this, the sorting and stuff, please ask. You can also, one last thing, I like this website because everything's right there on the website. But if you want to use your Prism to run the random number generator, let me show you that again. We did this once before. It's in Run Matrix. You press Option, Stat, no, not Stat, Probability. Yeah, so Option, arrow over, hit Probability, F4 Rand for random, F2 Int for random integer. And then you type 1, 565, for instance, 30, and it'll generate a list of 30 numbers. You may get repeats this way. So that's why I think that website is maybe better than the calculator. But you can use, and you can sort it on the website. But if you want to use the calculator, that's also an option. Okay, so hopefully that gives you what you need to really get started with trying to get your data sets and using a random number generator.